Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back. Today we're going to go over an interview I did with Graphite Design. We answer some questions that a lot of you have asked me, and we're going to talk about the new Graphite Design Tour AD XC shaft that they have coming out. So without further ado, let's get on with it. Alright everybody, we're here with Bill Mcpherson from Graphite Design. We're going to go over some questions here and do a little bit of an interview. Alright, first question is, do you guys have plans for a new Tour AD DI coming out soon?
Yeah, so I think the best way to answer that question, Ross, is quite simply put with regards to the Tour AD DI, which has been around for over 10 years now and been a very, very good selling shaft for us. We introduced the Tour AD IZ back in 2018. The IZ is very, very similar to the DI in that it's a high launch, low spin type profile. It's not a replacement to the DI, but rather a complementing shaft to the DI. The profile is slightly stiffer feeling. That's attributed to the T1100G material technology. So to answer the question, no plans for a new DI, but you could definitely look at the IZ for what would be a complementing shaft, high launch, low spin profile, much like the DI with new technology.
Cool. Let's talk about the fake Tour AD shafts and why it's so important to buy from a dealer instead of, finding a deal on eBay or buying used.
Yeah, no doubt about it. There are definitely counterfeit shafts out in the marketplace, branded as Graphite Design Tour ADs. You can visit our website. We actually have a page dedicated to how to identify counterfeit shafts. But I think the way to look at it is you get what you pay for. If you're able to find a Tour AD shaft that really does hold its value in the marketplace, even the shafts like the DI that have been around for 10 years, if you're able to find one that's under $100, $150, it's probably not really what it says it is. The one way that is the easiest way to identify if it is indeed a shaft that's authentic or not. And you're not going to be able to see this on camera, but in this section of the shaft, which would technically be underneath the grip, there's a serial number engraved right here.
Let's see if you can see that there.
That's one way to be able to tell, Ross. Then the other way is our new product is identified with a counterfeit label here. It's a holographic label that when you roll it, it goes to green and it says Graphite Design. So those are the two key factors, as well as this white label, which again sometimes will be cut off when they build the product into a golf club. But ask for a serial number, look for the serial number. We can authenticate the shaft. If you have a serial number, you can contact us and we'll go through that process. But really that's the most important aspect about our product and being able to confirm if it is indeed authentic or not.
So you should be able to pull a grip and either see the serial number or see the hologram right here.
Right.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a really good way to tell. So
and
just
again,
basically pull a grip if you buy a used shaft.
Right. And again, there are some aspects about the graphic of the shaft that we talk about on our website that shows color and font size and whatnot. I'd say visit the website if you have questions as well.
Let's talk about the new Graphite Design XC line. Where does it fit in? What is it? And how much is it going to cost?
Oh yeah. So as you see here, the new Tour AD XC shaft, black with a satin finish, silver and red accent, and a spray fade in silver down at the tip. The XC model is designed to complement the Tour AD BB model, much like DI launch to IZ, BB to XC. So low to mid launch, low spin profile. In this particular case, it's going to be a little firmer feeling than the BB. mainly in the mid and tip section.
Okay.
Soft in the hands, firm center section, firm tip. So again, a higher kick point, going to promote that low launch, low to mid launch characteristic that players that have played the BB in the past are familiar with. The XC does utilize two material technologies. We have the T1100G down in the tip section. That's for the stiffness tuning of the shaft. And then within the mid to tip section, we've incorporated a brand new material called Toray M40X.
Okay.
So M40X is a material that is both high in tensile and modulus strength, basically 30% stronger than its predecessor. So what our engineers are able to do is use that material to create a shaft with regards to the stiffness area of the shaft by using one ply of, for instance, M40X versus 2 plies or 3 plies even of the previous.
So less material.
Predecessor material. Less material, slightly lighter in weight, much more efficient way to make a golf shaft.
Cool. Sounds like it ought to be a really interesting product. I can't wait to test it.
With regards to cost, it will retail at $379, much like all the other Tour AD wood shafts are priced at. And it launches actually this Friday, the 6th of September.
Okay, cool. You guys have any plans for a low launch, low spin hybrid shaft? And does the DI hybrid fit this?
Good question. Both the DI and IZ in the heavier weights, IZ 75 and 85, and then of course the DI 85, 95, and 105, would be the firmer, lower launching hybrid shafts that we offer. Generally, a player that plays a hybrid wants a little bit higher ball flight. They're looking to get the ball up in the air. Now, from a driving iron standpoint, we do have consumers that use the DI 95X or even 105X as a driving iron shaft, and that works very well.
Your harder swingers.
Right, but to complement what's going on in the marketplace with driving irons, we offer a driving iron utility shaft specifically. That shaft is a little bit lesser priced than the hybrids at $89 versus $219. So if you're looking for that lower penetrating type ball flight, I would look at that driving iron or the heavier DI shafts.
The 95, 105 profiles.
95, 105 profiles.
Okay, cool. Any plans to make an iron shaft for the U.S. North American market? The current Japanese offering, the price point is prohibitive compared to other manufacturers out there.
Yes. The shaft iron market is definitely competitive. Our Tour AD iron offering is the only iron offering that we will have for the foreseeable future to complement the woods, fairway wood, and hybrid shafts. So no, to answer your question, we have no plans to add another iron shaft at this time. It's the Tour AD high-end, again, taper tip, constant weight offerings from 55 all the way to 95 grams, and then we have a 105 and 115 gram offering as well, but it's a higher price pointed shaft.
Touch a little bit about, the kind of player that shaft is geared towards.
Which one? The heavier?
The lighter weights.
Okay, absolutely. So obviously 55, 65 grams. It's going to be tiered or geared towards the player that's a slower swing speed. Looking for a good feeling shaft. They've maybe decided that steel's just not quite what they're looking for. They want something that is maybe a little bit more precise and accurate. So yeah, I would say the lighter swing weight, the lighter weights of our iron shafts, 55, 65, even 75 grams, complements a player that maybe has a 40 gram driver shaft, 50 gram.
They want to stay kind of lighter weights, everything under 100 grams.
Not play a 100 gram iron shaft.
Yeah.
That just doesn't make sense. So yeah, our complete line of Tour AD irons, again, from 55 all the way to 95 grams in 10 gram increments, is all constant weight, taper tip, high end, like our Tour AD wood shafts.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the M9003 and the P9003 series. Any plans on an updated version?
The P9003 was discontinued and replaced by the M9003.
Okay.
So the M9003 product comes in 4 SKUs, 2 weights of 68 and 78 grams, and then of course S and S X Flex in both weights.
Okay.
So we don't have anything heavier like the P series, which was at 80 plus grams. For the most part, we don't have a plan right now to refresh or bring anything out in the way of an M9003 shaft, but they are still available. It was the P series or the 9003 that was discontinued and replaced by the M9003.
By the M.
And that was in 2015. The M9000 is actually the first shaft that utilizes the T1100G material technology as well. So that's really our lowest launching, lowest spinning shaft. The next model would be GP, which is more of a mid-launch low-spin shaft with a very stiff tip.
Okay. Then you'd go BBXC after that.
BB, XC, IZ, TP, VR,
Okay.
right.
Cool. Since you guys discontinued the YS Nano Reloaded, is there anything in the $200 to $250 price point?
Well, the YS Nano Reloaded hybrids were discontinued, but the woods are still available.
Okay.
So those map at $99.
Okay.
And then we have right in the middle between Tour AD and YS Nano Reloaded our MAD shaft.
Okay.
So the MAD product is offered in two variations, a standard and a pro. The standard version is going to be priced at $179, the pro at $279.
Okay.
The pro, obviously, for the faster swing speeds, better players, looking for a tighter dispersion, fairly heavier, stiffer, lower torque type profile. And the standard versions would be for your everyday, weekend warrior type golfer that wants a shaft anywhere from 55 to 65 grams in weight, moderate torques, easy to hit, get the ball up in the air type shaft.
Okay. Why does Graphite Design recommend not tipping the driver when they feel loose untipped? Additionally, why does TaylorMade default tip their drivers 1 inch when Graphite Design and, say, Fuji or Mitsubishi say not to tip them?
Okay. Let's take a step back and why tipping was really first invented.
Okay.
Why shafts were tipped. So it used to be, back in the 90s, 2000s, that all graphite wood shafts were manufactured with a 4-inch parallel tip, meaning from here to the 4-inch point, this diameter was parallel at 335 in this case. Constant, right. So the reason for that was for through bore heads, where
Okay.
the depth of the bore was 2 inches, as opposed to where we are today at anywhere from 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches. So what it would be is, in a standard bore 1.5 inch depth head, you would want to go ahead and cut 1 inch of that parallel section off because it wasn't needed. It was
Gotcha.
designed for the different head types. Now that through bore heads are no longer manufactured, all shaft manufacturers for the most part have gone to a 3-inch tip parallel section,
You don't need
which
that extra inch.
there's no need to now tip.
Okay.
We've designed the product also around the current head technology, what's going on in the face technology specifically, but therefore we promote not tipping our shafts. Now, with that being said, of course, there is room to tip our product. With a 3-inch tip parallel, you always want to keep a 1/2 inch of the parallel section above the hosel
Okay.
to prevent breakage. So if you have 1.5 inch bore depth and 3 inches of parallel to work with, you could tip it up to 1 inch.
Okay.
When you do tip a shaft, it's going to move the kick point down. It will move it down. That's a given. So that could cause slightly higher launch angles. It depends on which profile you're tipping and how you load the shaft, etc.
Okay.
It will also stiffen the tip of the shaft. But more than anything else, in our testing, we found it takes out feel, because it's designed not to be tipped, and you're losing what we've put into the shaft through all our testing and research is how the shaft is to perform in a head untipped. So you're kind of taking away, I'll call it the transmission of the shaft.
Gotcha.
Right? That's where the kick is, that's where the feel is, and that's why we say don't tip it. Now, if you're a swing speed, let's say of 105 miles per hour, and you're typically playing a stiff flex shaft in, let's say, Autola or Project X or something like that, yes, you may want to consider going to X Flex in our product line, keeping in mind all of the Tour AD wood shafts are made in Japan. They're made to what I kind of call an Asian flex spec, which, 1/4 to 1/2 flex, softer than
Okay.
some of the other manufacturers, again, specifically the US-based stuff like the Project X, Hazardous, etc. So that's where getting fit, I think, is the most important thing. If you're going to spend the money on a high-performance shaft, spend a little bit more money to make sure you get the right high-performance shaft.
Absolutely.
And have it built by a club builder like yourself, professionally, rather
Absolutely.
than trying to guess and hunt and end up with a shaft that you got to resell. And just do it right the first time. You'd be surprised. Once you're fit into a shaft, that shaft can fit for a number of years until maybe your swing speed starts to slow down as you gain age and it's time to get a different flex. But that shaft can last you much longer than 1 or 2 years.
Or there's
Once
some
you're fit into
serious change in head technology.
Right.
But other
The
than
whole
that, that
idea
shaft
is-
will fit for years to come.
Right, it would fit for years to come. The whole idea is you've been fit into it. Your profile, how you swing the golf club, isn't going to drastically change unless you go and make changes with lessons and whatnot. So the shaft should fit you for a long period of time. So
Absolutely.
invest in a high-performance shaft to last you a long period of time.
It's not really that much more that you're spending to make sure without a shadow of a doubt that what you have is correct for you. With the ADDI being one of the most popular shafts made, everybody knows that shaft. I call it the Tiger Woods shaft.
Orange and white. Yes.
Orange and white. Why hasn't Graphite Design attempted to remake this shaft or even offer additional wraps to get the people who already play the shaft to rebuy, if you will? So different colors, etc.
Right, yeah. I think more than anything else, Graphite Design is noted or known for producing some of the best feeling shafts in the world.
Absolutely.
And once we've produced it, we don't try to go back and replicate it, change it. It is what it is. And we don't want to confuse the consumer with anything in relation to changing something about a shaft that works so well, like the DI does.
Absolutely.
So we just keep it as it is. Sure, we may complement it. As I mentioned, the IZ is a little tighter, slightly firmer version of DI. But once you have a shaft, like I said just earlier, once you have a shaft that's tuned to your swing and it fits you, continue to play it. Sure, you might want to buy another driver and just go ahead and get that same shaft. Confusion leads to interruption, and it causes sales to go down, in my opinion. So let's just keep it the way it is, keep it the same, and not confuse the consumer with anything other
By
than
having multiple models and colors and SKUs. And
now the DI is available in two colors of orange or black.
Yep.
And they are the exact same shaft structure underneath the paint. We did have a lot of requests for a black version, so we offered it, and it is still available today. So there are two color options, but it's very clear as to the fact it is a
what's
DI.
available. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
it is
for
a
sure.
DI.
There's no confusion there for sure. This was a question from somebody off Facebook. Explain how and why making the butt stiffer or the tip softer or vice versa changes the ball flight and feel.
Well, when the engineers are designing these shafts, it's not just about the profile design to launch the ball high or low, but also how it feels with regards to the design intent. So you kind of have to balance the shaft out. We do have shafts that have a one-piece feeling, like the M9003, the GP, where they're firm all the way through the shaft.
Mm-hmm.
And we have soft shafts, like the SL2 series. This particular shaft is a soft handle, stiff midsection, stiff tip. So it's going to have a little bit more feel in the hands, much like the BB. As I mentioned, it's kind of a shaft designed to complement, refresh the BB line with newer technology. But I don't think it's any one particular slight tweak to the shaft that's going to cause ball flight to go up or down. It's the overall total bend profile with regards to that, and then making it feel the way our intent and the engineer's intent is to feel. So in this case, we wanted a softer feeling in the hands, firmer mid to tip section shaft, so that's why this particular model is designed that way. That pulls the kick point up a little higher to promote the lower launch.
So it's a cause and effect type of thing. You change one thing, it changes this, you have to change that to get it back to where it was.
It's a balancing act, and again, what the engineer's design intent is from a ball flight standpoint as well. So there's multiple iterations that are generated, they're tested, down selected, and at the end of the day, this is the particular model that performed the best in today's heads to give us the results we were looking for.
How many prototypes would you think they go through making a product like this?
Yeah, usually it's 2 to 3 different prototypes that are designed with slight tweaks this way or that way, and then they go through that process of testing, and usually down selected to 2, and then much more testing is done to look at ball flight, what it's doing, is it doing what we want, and then we down select the one that feels the best.
Gives the best performance.
That's usually how it works. Yeah.
Absolutely. So take 1 out of 3 and make the best.
Right.
Choose the best option.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you feel like you need to get out to a potential Graphite Design customer? Any information? Anything that you feel like is bad info out there that you've heard? Anything that you want to get across to a customer?
No, with regards to our product, it's all high-end, made in Japan. It's important to understand that, as I mentioned earlier, getting fit into the product is going to get you the best result. You can certainly try your buddy's club and you like how it feels and move forward from there, but I like to just promote, you get what you pay for, and visit a club fitter and let them help you determine what's best, and let them educate you on how ball flight is affected by different shafts, and you get the chance to test them and see on the launch monitor what it does. I think that's the most important aspect of the entire scope of what Graphite Shafts have to offer to consumers now. So it's all about going and getting fit and walking out and hopefully hitting a much better ball.
I kind of like to compare it to, you wouldn't go walk into a suit store and just buy a suit off the rack. You would want to be tailor fit for it,
Right.
custom fit. Same thing with a golf shaft. You know, this suit and this sleeve length may fit you, but my arms are shorter than yours, so it's going to look like the movie Big. You know, same thing with the shaft. This shaft profile may fit you, but it may not fit you at all.
Right.
So the way golf equipment is being sold, I think you have to be custom fit. Otherwise, you're just behind the curve.
Yeah, if you want the best performance, and I can't imagine a golfer out there that's not looking for more distance or
Right.
a better feeling product or whatever it may be. But starting with the driver, that's usually the club that most people are most interested in performance and gaining more distance. Start with the driver. Let somebody, in the club fitting marketplace like yourself, show what's possible with our product and today's modern heads, and hopefully we can get you 10 to 15 more yards.
Absolutely. All right, well, that'll do it for now. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe.